The final stretch run, week 15. Everyone's had byes. There's 4 games to go in the NFL season, 4 games to the playoffs. Pain Day is upon us, which for this week will start, as always, on Thursday night. We'll have the Rams and the 49ers, both teams trying to stay in the mix for that division title. Let's start with Kyle Shanahan, who is, of course, all business. We're all business. Now that we actually won a game this week, we're very all business getting ready for the Rams on Thursday.
Yeah, last week felt like the playoffs already. So, since that Buffalo game, every week is a playoff game. So it feels like it this week, and hopefully we can take care of business so next week feels the same.
No, all business. Well, all business.
Yeah, you tell me, Carver High. So let's look at it realistically. Do you think they have a chance if they run the tables to get a playoff spot, a wild card? Because they're not winning the West. That's not happening.
Well, look, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say if they ran the table, I think they could win the West. If they ran the table, they'd go 10-7. I think that could get it done. I don't know. Seattle's got 8 wins right now. I don't know if Seattle's going to win 3 more games. They got a pretty tough schedule over the last 4 weeks, Seattle. So I think if the Niners ran the table, they'd be in the mix to win that division.
You think they're going to go 10-7, they're going to run the tables the rest of the way?
I don't think they're going to do that. If they did it, they would have a chance. I think that they have a couple of very tricky games here.
The Lions and Cardinals.
Right. Now, look, I think they could beat the Cardinals the last year. The Lion game is the one that sticks out to you. That's obviously a very tough game. Now, the game is in San Francisco, but the Lions are a lot better than them this year. They just are. The Lions are a lot better than the 49ers. So I think they would have to win all 4 of their games to have a chance to win this division. But they're going to try to get a start on it, obviously, tomorrow night against the Rams and at least get themselves back to 7-7. Let's hear from Deebo here, or not really hear from him because he doesn't really say much. He put a tweet out the other night that he's not getting the ball. So this is a wide receiver.
Here we go, another guy.
This is like a tale as old as time when it comes to wide receivers. He tweeted, not struggling at all, just not getting the ball. That was his response to somebody saying that he was struggling. Here was all the reporters trying to ask him about that tweet.
You had a tweet that got a lot of attention yesterday. You
Look at him, he looks like he just robbed the
your
house.
feelings or what you wanted to convey with that?
I mean, you read what you read. A little frustrated for sure.
Kyle and Brock said that you guys talk just about daily. Is getting touches and things like that something that's discussed during those kinds of
conversations? 100%, yeah.
Do you see that? Do you sense that? I mean, as soon as you get the ball, that there's like 3 or 4 guys out there on the perimeter.
I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys whenever, no matter who got the ball.
It's typical of guys getting touches.
He's funny.
You expect it to come back around for you, right, in terms of...
When it comes, it comes.
Chewing his gum.
That's like, I guess, another wide receiver thing, right? Didn't Neighbors do that a couple weeks ago? Neighbors was chewing the gum when they were interviewing him.
I actually like Neighbors, Samuel, Reek Hill. I like Pickens. I like guys that know how good they are. Chase. They know how good they are, and they're not afraid to say it and be interviewed. And you know what's great? The difference between this guy and Micah Parsons is that Parsons never shuts the F up. Blame me all you want. I know I never shut the F up either. But I'm not getting paid hundreds of millions to play in the NFL. Here's the deal. That guy said very few words, but they spoke volumes. The interview, he's like, yeah, that's right. It's that way every day. And he's like chewing the gum, like just driving people nuts. He did more with less than Parsons ever did once in his entire career in Dallas with his blabbermouth of nothingness.
It is funny. It's like it's the wide receivers who always. It is amazing that those are the guys that always end up. They make a lot of money and they make big plays, and that's why they go ahead and do that. We will come score tutties, and that's what it's all about. We will come back and hear from Stafford. I'll give you the numbers for that game, and then we will get into Mike Tomlin for this week, our Wednesday Mike Tomlin visit, as he talks about the Eagles and the Steelers coming up on Sunday.
Now that Kincaid has rubbed that in my face, I want nothing more than an outright win by the Steelers at the Link.
They just put the injury report out for this game for tomorrow night just now. Trent Williams out again on the Niners offensive line. He hasn't played in weeks. They do have Bosa as questionable, so it's possible you might have Bosa out there against the Rams, and you're going to need it because, as you said, the Ram offense has been clicking lately. Kupp and Puka Shells both having huge games every week. Stafford has been going off. They have been winning games, some of them crazy, some of them close. Stafford says we need to continue to do that and take care of the Niners on Thursday.
A bunch of professionals, right? No matter what the circumstance is in the game or the season, at any point, got to show up, go to work, be ready to fight, battle, try to come away with the win. We've been able to do that, a few times. Would love to have less adversity and win them all, but that's not the case. So it's another big challenge this week on a short week, getting ready to play a really physical, good football team that played really well last week as well. So it'll be a big challenge for us.
I think the edge goes to the Niners. I know they're decimated, but they still kick the Bears' ass, and they're playing at stonewashed denim jeans. They're tough there. We certainly know what they're capable of, and they know. Shanahan and company know. Purdy, they all know they have to win these games. They got to beat the Rams. They got to beat the Dolphins. Then they'd have 8 wins, and then they could lose to the Lions and beat the Cardinals in the toaster in Glendale to end it, and they'd have 9 wins. And I think that's where they're going to end up. I don't think they're winning 10 games.
I don't think they're winning 10 games either. I do think, like you, that they are going to win tomorrow night. I think that it's a tough spot for the Rams off of a win on Sunday. They're going there. They beat the Niners at SoFi earlier this season. I think that this is going to end up being a split between the two. It was 2.5 yesterday. It's 3 today. So a flat 3 for the Niners at home and a big 49.5. I got to tell you, I think this game's way under 49.5 tomorrow night. I know the Rams have been playing some crazier games. I don't see it here. I think the Niners are going to try to grind this game down. I mean, they're on their 5th or 6th running back. I think they're going to try to win this one in a very sloppy game, 20-14, something like that.
I bet it and the 2.5 yesterday. I didn't wait for it to flip to 3.
Yeah, so nice job there with the 2.5 because, like you said, you're going to 3 today. So the Niners and the Rams will, of course, do a little bit more tomorrow. Week 15 will get underway in the NFL. Let's start the Tomlin stuff because I got a couple for you today from Tomlin as the Eagles and the Steelers. The state championship of Pennsylvania, as Mike Tomlin would also like to let you know that it is.
Breezewood is next. Breezewood.
Here it is from Mike.
Now on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, really excited about this one, man. This Pennsylvania State Championship. Excited about representing Whippeal in this. I was just joking this morning, man. We could play this game in Breezewood, man. That'd be awesome.
See what I mean?
Your boy, Breezewood.
When I grew up in Pittsburgh, my high school won 4 Whippeal State Championships in a row when I was there. A gigantic high school. And AstroTurf football field, the whole deal. Mount Lebanon, the Blue Devils. They meant business in football, believe me you, and nothing else. But they were great in football. The Whippeals, always fantastic football. The Western Pennsylvania high school football scene is just some of the greatest players in NFL history have come out of there.
Now, for those who don't know Pennsylvania geography as well, where would Breezewood be in relation to all of this?
Breezewood is in eastern Pennsylvania. So if you drive to Philadelphia from Pittsburgh, you go on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and you end up outside of Philadelphia, like at least an hour or more, hour and a half more. You go to Breezewood is next. And Breezewood is a place with 100 fast food restaurants and 100 gas stations, and that's it.
There you go, Breezewood, right in the middle. There's a lot of good football in that state, as you mentioned. So not easy there in the state of Pennsylvania for football supremacy. The Eagles and the Steelers, though, on the NFL level will play for it
Western
on Sunday.
Pennsylvania has always been better, Mike. the Western Pennsylvania Athletic League. The high school football has been the superior side of the state is Western Pennsylvania when it comes to high school football. Philadelphia's never been like Pittsburgh has been.
I've got one more for Mike Tomlin for you. Of course, Sunday begins a very difficult stretch for the Steelers. They are going to play 3 games over 11 days against the Eagles, Ravens, and Chiefs. Not going to be easy, but as you know, Mike Tomlin, he don't want to hear excuses or anything like that. They got ball to play. That's it.
I'm really just focused on Philadelphia. I don't care what's on the other side of it.
Does it affect your approach to practice workload, division of labor, things like that, knowing that this is the start to a stretch like that?
It may affect it on the other side of Philadelphia, but I have a 7-day cycle this week, and so I'm not going to make the simple complex. We got a task this week. We got a job to do. We got a finite amount of time and materials and talent and manpower, as do they. And so with that in mind, we're going to prepare and focus our energies on winning this game. There's so many variables that could affect the preparation process on the other side of this game, the attrition component and so forth, that it's fruitless and almost a waste of time to get beyond the template component. Certainly I have a calendar and a template, but that does not have my time or attention. The Philadelphia Eagles do.
I mean, this guy.
He's so unbelievable.
I think he drives with a thesaurus, planning his press conferences.
That's good for Mike. The Steelers can clinch a playoff spot if they win this week. They can clinch the AFC North with wins this week and next week against the Ravens. So getting closer to getting some of those check marks next to their name in the standings when you go and look. Jalen Hurts, since the bye, 9-0, 3rd in passer rating, 4th in yards per completion, 1st in quarterback rushing yards, 23 total touchdowns. That's 1st in the NFL, and he's only thrown 1 INT during that stretch for Jalen Hurts. But they don't. They're like, I think John told you, they're 31st in the NFL in passing. Their offense is 31st in the league. So they will try to get it done again. Yes.
So wait a minute. Go through this again. They're 9-0 since the bye. He's 3rd in passer rating, 4th in yards per completion, 1st in quarterback rushing yards, 23 total TDs, 1st in the NFL, and he's thrown 1 pick. And they think he sucks in Philadelphia. How effing stupid are these people? I mean, honestly, those numbers, I said it to John. His numbers are staggering for a guy that sucks. I have never seen anything like it. This guy doesn't suck. But I will tell you this. Despite those numbers, I think Russell Wilson is playing better than Jalen Hurts, hands down. Do you?
Playing better right now, I would say yes. The conversation before was kind of like who would you want as your quarterback? I think I'd probably pick Hurts, but who's playing better right now? That's a different question. I think Wilson is playing better than him right now, passing wise. Now Hurts has a different element than a lot of guys. Because, like we said, there's 23 touchdowns. I think 13 or 14 of those are rushing. He's a lot of rushing touchdowns for him, a lot on the feet for Jalen Hurts. So that has to factor in too. Guys like Hurts and Lamar and Allen, you put different icing on the cake with them because they're also runners.
I want to see the Steelers stop the tush push.
Well, that would be cool to see. Not many teams have been good at stopping that, and hopefully the Steelers can do that. Line is not moved. I think we're where we have said we are going to be, and that's with the Steelers getting the 5.5. And I like this over too, 42.5. I think we'll get some points.
Yeah, I like the Steelers, and I'm with you on that too. The over, why not? But look, you know what? I'm going to back off of that. I still think that these two teams play great defense, and that this game could be an under. I still think it could be an under because it could be a war of attrition. They both are so good defensively. I'm tempted to lean under, but and what'd you say the number's at? 42.5. That's a
42.5. That's a very low number. Very low.
For two teams that have won as many games, they've won 9 in a row, and the Steelers have won 10 games. I mean, come on. These are two great teams that score a lot, and the number's 42.5. That screams under to me that it's going to be a war, that this game's going to be like, 19-16 type game. I don't, something 21-19. I mean, literally,
I think you look to
the game. I think they can win the game.
I think all you got to do is look to 2 weeks ago, the Eagle-Raven game, right? I mean, that game had a very big total. That ended up being a lower scoring type of game. The Eagle defense was able to hold the Ravens down. I think that's kind of the game maybe that you're looking at this week also for the Eagles and the Steelers. Very possible for that. Cam Hayward now the leading vote getter, by the way, for the defensive tackle spot at the Pro Bowl, passing Quinnen Williams of the Jets. He also has ridiculous numbers, Cam Hayward, this year. Old man, as Tomlin calls him. Old man is what he calls Cam Hayward.
Literally, can I just look really quick? Watch this. I want to see what the weather is supposed to be like. Do you know? So, it's going to be cold as hell. Well, I guess 40 is not bad. 40 degrees is not bad to me. That's nothing for a high. That's a day game in 425. So it's not going to be 40 at 425. It's going to be it'd probably be 34 degrees at kickoff.
Mid-30s.
If it would have been like today was 60 degrees in New York City.
Yeah.
I would have gone to that game at the Link in Philly if it's because they're saying it's not going to rain Sunday. I still might go to the game. I still might go.
Listen, the sun's going to obviously be down at kickoff, or just about to be down at 4:25. It's going to be in the 30s. It's a lot will depend on how much wind's going to be out there, which as of now they say not much, but mid 30s and clear. You're going to get a nice fast track for the Eagles and the Steelers, possibly coming up on Sunday.
I might just go. I might do it. I'm crazy.
Go to the game. Just go to the game. You might as well go. Hey, what's the problem? Just go see the game. That's all that matters. We'll come back.
Goes to Bills games. Telling me I go to 50 games a year.
I know. Well, I can't do that kind of travel. I just don't have the resources to go up to Buffalo a couple of times.
It's a problem. These little kids
are
just a problem. They're a problem.
They are a problem. We'll talk about it. Yeah, they don't stop. They don't stop. The Lions and the Bills. I have a few numbers for this game. You and Morency were talking about it earlier. The highest total in the NFL so far this season, 54.5. The under hits at 64% in games with totals of 50 or more the past 3 years. So the past 3 years when the total's 50 or more, for the most part, they've been staying under. I know it's a very heavy numbers guy, but I don't see it this week. I think that this is going to be one of these crazy 38, 35, like the Lions played with the Packers last week, like the Bills played with the Rams. I think it's going to be an up and down game.
It's on national television for a reason. They wouldn't drop the game to flex it or anything else for a reason. It's going to be a track meet. That's all there is to it. I think the slugfest will be the Eagles-Steelers, and that the high-scoring affair will be the Bills-Lions. And everyone thinks that the Lions and Bills are meeting in the Super Bowl. I'm sure the Kansas City Chiefs are laughing at all the talk about how they're finished and their demise and everything else. And I've said it too. I think they're going down, but they never lose.
They never lose. They just never do. And you're right. They do laugh at this stuff. They laugh at everybody. I think people are pumping that matchup up because of, they're two teams that have never won it. It would be, you would get something fresh, something different if it was the Lions and the Bills in the Super Bowl. I think that's why it never works out this way.
Something blue.
It never works out this way. The matchup everyone dreams of all year, we got to get this in the Super Bowl, it never happens. Something gets screwed up along the way, and usually the Chiefs are the team that are there to screw it up for everyone. That's usually the ones that go ahead and they ruin everybody. Allen's 2-0 against Goff, but Allen's never been an underdog in the matchup. Whatever, that's 2 games isn't enough for me to get very excited about. But I will say this did go from 1.5 yesterday to now 2.5. So Lions minus 2.5 against the Bills. It's gone up a point.
Yeah, look, I mean, this game is, it was 44-42 Rams, right? So 2 and a hook
Yeah.
even is dangerous, but I'm still leaning Lions at Ford Field to win this game and cover by at least a field goal. I could see Bates kicking one. I just think the Lions are a lot like the Chiefs. They don't lose. They always find a way to win. And this guy takes all these risks, and they keep, he keeps hitting on the craps table. I'll say that much about him.
He certainly does keep doing that, and eventually that does run out. The Chiefs are going to be in Cleveland this week. I told you yesterday, and I got the exact numbers for it. Chiefs have not covered their last 7 games. They are 0-7 against the spread. Their last 7 times out. No team that has ever had 6 or more games in a row not covered in a regular season has ever won the Super Bowl. And they are in Cleveland. I know maybe it was just that I was in the city yesterday and the party was happening. I told you that I think the Browns are going to beat the Chiefs on Sunday in Cleveland. And after a night of sleep and thinking about it a little bit more, I believe it even more. They are going to beat the Chiefs on Sunday in Cleveland. What do you think about that? They are. The luck runs out this week. Jameis has been fine. I know he's going to probably throw him 1 or 2. He always does. But I just feel like the Browns are going to be in this game this week, and they're going to have a chance to win it. They're going to have a shot.
I hope you're right. And, I think that Jameis and Judy would have to have a huge day, and I don't believe it. I hope you're right. I will root for you. But you know how much I hate the Chiefs. Christ, I'll root for you all day. And, in fact, I'll help make the bet. But I am not believing that for 1 minute. They suck. And like Pickens was right. The Browns suck, and the Steelers kick their ass. Don't tell me the Chiefs aren't beating them. But I'm with you. I hope they do it.
You know what? One of these weeks, the ball's going to bounce the other way for Kansas City. Speaking of that, Tommy Cutlett's back in the mix for the G-Men, Big Blue on Sunday. Drew Lock has an ankle injury. His foot's in a walking boot. He's not going to be playing. So how about this? This was 14.5 yesterday. After the Tommy Cutlets news today, the Giants are now getting 16.5 at home against the Ravens. That's right. 16.5 since 2003. Home underdogs of 10 or more points are 75, 55, and 158%. 16.5 is a very big number. That's a lot of gas, man. 16.
I'm entitled to take it back. I will not bet on the New York Giants and 16.5 points against the Ravens. I told you yesterday I wouldn't bet on the game at all. I'm going back to that. I want no part of it. First of all, I hate the Ravens. I'm not betting on them. And I'm not betting on the Giants because they suck. Last year, they got 17 points in a game against the Cowboys, gave up 50 points. So they are awful. And, they are so awful. They can't even kick a 20-yard field goal. I think they have to get rid of Dable. I honestly, this has been 2 years running of just disastrous football, to the point where they can't even kick a field goal. This guy was so bad that at one point he went into a game with no field goal kicker. And that was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. The guy was injured. He didn't have a kicker. He had the punter out there kicking field goals. They have gotten so bad that they can't even kick a field goal from 20 yards out to tie a game at home in front of their fans. Their fans are suffering. They're wearing bags on their heads now, along with Jet fans. It's embarrassing. How long are you going to let this go on? Now, I have heard that they're going to keep this guy if they draft this quarterback that they want. They're going to let Shane and Dable keep going with a quarterback. Let me tell you something. This team has way bigger problems than just the quarterback. That's problem one of many. I'm talking they got 25. You know what they got? 99 problems, and a B is one. They got 99 problems, that football team. Just getting Cam Ward or Sanders will not cure that football team. Whoever gets that job at quarterback in the draft, he's dead meat. Dead meat. That kid is going to be dead meat. He is going to. You think Caleb Williams took a beating in Chicago? The guy in New York has apps. It's almost like they play without an offensive line. They'll snap the ball to him and let everyone kill him. Smear the Q. You know what I'm talking about. So that guy's dead meat. Whoever gets that job is dead meat.
Finished is what they'll be. Finished. That's what usually happens.
On with their first year,
Go
they'll have
to
their
a-
knee decapitated.
Go to a bad spot, you get bad results. Unfortunately, that's what the Giants have become, a bad spot. Here's what the playoffs would be if the season ended today. Of course, it doesn't end today, but this is who would be facing off if the playoffs ended today with a few weeks to go. You would get Bills, Broncos, Steelers, and the Chargers at the place the Steelers play, and the Texans would play the Ravens. Meanwhile, the Eagles would play Washington, Seattle and Green Bay, who do play each other this Sunday night, and Tampa and Minnesota in the other game. Chiefs and the Lions would have the byes right now. I believe you also have the playoff picture, the whole thing, in both the AFC and the NFC. Great job by
No
Nick and the
wonder
crew.
people think the Ravens are going to win because they're playing the Texans, who are so average this year, it's not even funny. The Steelers, who have played way better than the Ravens and beat the Ravens and get to play them in Baltimore to prove it again, they're going to have to play Herbert and the Chargers, who are better than the Texans and the Ravens. So their reward for being the 3 or the 2 is to play the Chargers. My ass. I still think Minnesota, I'm going to say, because, look, I think they're overrated, 11-2, overrated, whatever it is. I'm going to take back what I said. I think they can beat Tampa in a game in Minneapolis in the playoffs, but they're not going further than that.
Paper Tiger is what I would call them. Paper Tiger, the Minnesota Vikings. There are some teams still in it. I think we have the playoff picture in both. There's the AFC. The Colts, Dolphins, and Bengals are still alive with 4 weeks to go. Now, they have a lot of scenarios. Now, the Colts play the Broncos this week, Scotty. So that's actually, if the Colts do actually have some hope to still be in this thing, that game is in Denver.
Loss.
So that makes it very tough. But if they ever won, they'd be one back of them with a win over them head-to-head. I saw all the Bengal people this morning doing all the math. They got to win all 4 games, and Denver's got to lose 3 games, and this team's got to lose 2 games. And that, when you got to name that much stuff to happen for your team to get in the playoffs, the team's not getting in. That's how it goes.
January 5th when the Steelers finish them off in Pittsburgh.
They'll be finished before that. On the NFC side, there are obviously a lot more teams that are still involved because you have those 2 divisions that are very much up for grabs. So you see the Rams, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Niners. The NFC West teams are there because they are all within striking range of Seattle to win the NFC West.
I still don't believe any of those outsiders are getting in. Maybe the Rams.